Welcome back to Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. This one is entitled Computer Bug. This one dates back to, I think, around 1992. The home computer that we had at the time was the completely no longer state of the art IBM PC Junior, and it was in the basement. The basement was humid because my dad was too cheap to run the dehumidifier. It was damp and dank. The computer didn't seem to care. Being that it was a basement, there is the possibility for the infiltration of insects. You get bugs in the house. It happens. Whether it's a fly that flies in when you open the door, or a bee that flies in if you're unlucky, or a skeeter. I had a few of those in the house that flew in. Or one of those crickets, the camel crickets that like jump. They look like a big ugly spider, or anything like that. I get camel crickets in the basement maybe twice a year. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. They show up. They don't bite. They're not harmful. They don't do any damage to anything. So I just leave them and let them go on their merry way. And whether they're behind the walls, just laying there dead in piles, I don't know. They don't smell when they die, or at least I don't detect anything. So I leave them alone. They jump on me, there's going to be a problem, but that's pretty rare. They usually jump away. But you can get bugs in the basement and in the house. So there I was. It was spring, it was summer, something like that. I had taken an interest in programming, in the basic programming language. I did this by trial and error and reading the listings of other programs that I would run on a regular basis. Gee, how did they do that? And if you hit the break key at the right time, it would say break in 520. And then you could list lines from like 500 to 600, they were numbered, and look at the code that was there and see, oh, so if I type that in, what happened? Oh, it does do that. Okay. Before that, I knew very simple things in GW Basic with a color monitor. You could type color 1 was blue, color 2 was red, color 3 was green, color 4, 5, 6 up to 15, color 0 was black. I think color 7 was the dark white, did they call it, or sometimes gray, and that was the traditional text that it would come up with. So I knew how to do really simple stuff like that, but I started writing programs, and I was actually writing a program at the time. I can't remember which one I was working on, but I'm sitting there and I'm trying to debug this code that I wrote that's just not working properly. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the screen, and the PC Junior was, the monitor fit right on top of the system. It was like almost the same dimensions. But the PC Junior had sidecars. Nowadays, we have PCI Express expansion slots inside desktop systems. In these days, there was a standard called ISA. The PC Junior didn't use that, and it used proprietary IBM sidecars, not cards, but cars. And they would plug in the side of the computer, making the computer wider than it used to be. And you could have a lot of them on there. We had 3 on ours. One was extra memory, one was a parallel printer port, and I can't remember what the third one was offhand. Can't remember right now. Anyways, we had 3 sidecars. So the monitors, the size of the system, the sidecars would stick out about this wide. And I'm sitting there trying to debug this code, and a bee starts walking out from under the monitor and was now on the sidecars. I hate bees. I said, holy shit, oh my God, ah! So I ran, I got a plastic cup, and I got him. And then I'm like, okay, this doesn't help me because I pick it up, he's going to fly out, and I'm certainly not putting my hand on it. So I got a piece of paper and slid that under the cup, and then I could hold the paper there. He won't know how to stick through the paper, so, or he could try, but it probably wouldn't, I'd probably be okay. Anyway, that was the story with that. So anyway, I got the bee and I got rid of him. Whether I brought him outside or killed him, probably killed him because I hate them. Got rid of him somehow. And that was that. And I went back to the computer and I'm like, why does line 250 not work? Why is it giving me a syntax error? And I'm sitting there and I'm really racking my brain. I'm trying to figure it out. And I get a flashback of the bee. And I said, oh, I get it. That was a computer bug. True story. It really happened. I was the butt of my own bad joke. But it goes a little further because there's a second part to this. Many years later, I was in college, and in one or two of my classes was this guy, Jason Santos. We happen to have the same first name, so we instantly became friends. And he was white and nerdy like me. Oh, yeah. Really cool guy. I remember him telling me, oh, I got one of those blue LEDs. They had just come out, at least at a somewhat reasonable price for people to buy. They were really, really new at the time. And I know I went to his house a couple times, stuff like that. And in fact, this time I was at his house, and somehow, maybe we were in his basement, where else, and maybe there was a bug that came by, and I said, oh, that reminds me, and I told him the story about the computer bug I just told you. Well, there was a little more to it because he said, oh, I got one. I said, wow, he's going to one-up me? He said, I was driving home from somewhere one day, and it had rained, and I found an Apple IIe computer thrown out. So naturally, I stopped and picked it up. I said, of course. Why would you leave it? He said, but it rained. And I let it I left it dry out for like a week. And I said, before I go and power this thing on, let me open the case. And the top would just sort of pop open. And there it was. I said, what? A worm inside the apple. Also true. So with two bad jokes, this video is officially over. Anyway, thanks for watching this installment of Old War Stories for Uncle Jay. I really appreciate it. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.